Thank you very much, Uganda. It's a great honor to be here today. Honestly, I am really happy that this is happening because this is a great open door for African theatre. Before now, I did not take my time to check up Ugandan theatre, but with what I've seen on ground and the organization, I can attest that there's a vibrance around performance in Uganda. And for that, I say thank you for keeping it alive. I am here courtesy Zubaydan Yantalo. I want to thank her for bringing me to Uganda. I want to thank the National Council for Arts, the National Theatre. I want to thank everybody and every organization who is part of this event. I promise that this will be a vista into more collaborations. This will be a platform where we can explore more younger talents and see how we can interface, because Africa, like he said earlier, collaborations opens doors for major industries, and that is what I think we should begin to tap into. So I'm hoping we're going to have a great experience. Nampakula is going to be a huge success. I'm calling on all my Ugandan fans to come out on the 18th of November 2023 at the Serena Hotel for this great performance. I tell you, it's going to be electrifying. We're going to have more time to talk about acting and trainings and coaching and classes and collaborations. I just want to say thank you. I'm honored and I'm glad I'm in Uganda. Thank you very much. Okay, so we all agree that theater can almost not be without music, because music is an integral part of the theater, especially performances, and that is why we have the orchestra. I don't know if we find it easy to detach both. It's not possible, because theater goes with music, and music is that oil that keeps performance going. So that's why it's very integral in performance. So at some point, music and theater were inseparable. Performance was all about come and showcase what you had. What you see about theater declining, it's not really a deliberate thing. I think it's the evolution of social media and the availability of film, for instance, and sometimes the decline in theater also came about insecurity at some point, because post-colonial Africa, there were still thriving theaters in the whole of Africa. But at some point, because of the military intervention and all of that, Africa had a stage where it was very insecure. People were scared of leaving their houses, for instance, to go watch performances, and patronage dropped a lot. And you saw people who could do things on their own, for instance, musicians who could just get into the studio, record their songs, go and do a video and put out there. So it seemed that there was a lull in the theater culture. But I think with things happening now, we are beginning to see a revival, and we can inculcate in it. Since theater practitioners have been part of music performances and projecting musicians, I think it's about time we talk about collaborating with them in terms of music videos, in terms of social media contents, in terms of promotions. Theater practitioners can do actually stuff. You can take up an artist's song and do something along that line. There are musicals, there are dance dramas, there are various kinds of performances that occur in the theater, and these are various avenues I think we can tap into to support each other and project each other and enrich what each other is doing. So I think with what we're seeing now, for instance, you talked about the social media or the media not giving theater the kind of visibility it should. What I am seeing now does not testify that, because I think if things like this occur often and you throw it in their faces and they get to see that there's a thriving theater culture, the sky will be your springboard. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have a very, very valid question. The truth is, I believe as of today, Africa still has the best stories to tell. We just haven't been able to tell our stories at the appropriate time, in the appropriate way, and for the appropriate audience. We have allowed the West to describe us, to tell our stories from their perspective. But up until tomorrow, Africa manufactures stories. Just you walking along the street now, before you get to the next junction, you would have seen something that would evoke an idea. That is how Africa is vibrant with stories. But our problem usually in the film industry, to answer your question, is lack of government support. No industry can thrive in a country where the government does not give them maximum support. I am talking from experience. In Nigeria, for instance, Nollywood is the third, like you know, is the second highest producing movie nation in the world after Hollywood, and the third in terms of revenue. No, it's the second in terms of revenue in Nigeria. Nollywood is the second most, grossing industry in Nigeria that brings in money into the country. And then it is the third highest employing industry in Nigeria because of the volume of production that goes on every single day. Nigeria releases almost 2,500 movies every year, and they all find their markets, and the actors live well, they are well paid. There is an audience for the film. There are platforms. For instance, there are lots of Nigerian films on Netflix as we speak, Amazon Prime and other movie platforms. So, and all this came about because our government at some point stuck out their neck to support the industry. Like he said, it started in the 90s. Although prior to that time there had been movie making in Nigeria, but there was no structure. But from 1992, 91, 92, it became an industry. And it started with just individuals who were just seeing it as a business. In fact, these were men who were importing, then it was, what's it called? This video cassette player, then VHS, yes. They were using it to import Indian films and other foreign movies into the country. So at some point, the piracy law came about in America and all of that. So most movies were not allowed to be viewed in other countries. So at that time, they had stockpiled cartons and containers of VHS cassette. They didn't know what to do with. And an idea came up. They decided to just record movies with it and fill those VHS cartons with it and sell to the public. And it became an instant booming market. So at that time, there was no structure. Actors were struggling. But at some point, because we needed to fight for the future of that industry and for piracy, because like you said, piracy was a very huge interference. But the government stepped in and put in laws. And we set up National Film and Video Censors Board. There is National Copyright Commission. So they put in structure so you cannot infringe on anybody's property. Before your film goes through exhibition, it has to go through the National Copyright Commission, it has to go through this video censor, you have to copyright it, you have to own it. So nobody comes tomorrow to tell you that this is my content. So with that and the penalty and it being put into law, we have a Copyright Act in Nigeria. It's a law in our constitution. So it being put into law is a very heavy deterrent to people who might want to continue in that trade. So I believe the government has a huge responsibility, not just structurally, in terms of infrastructure, build more theaters as regards the theater industry, make availability to locations accessible to practitioners, make the environment conducive for people who want to do the arts, support them with grants, people who want, because Nigerian government did this at some point. They gave grants to theater practitioners, they gave to filmmakers, they had brands come together, and I implore Ugandan brands, corporate organizations, please support the theater, put in your money there. There is a thriving industry, the youths will basically be employed, and talents are wasting everywhere. Africa is rich with talents. Africa is so rich with talents, but there are not enough platforms to exhibit all of this talent. So I just wish our government do more, and our private firms support more, and our people do more. The sky will be our limit. Thank you very much. My character in Namukokula is a total character, is a grounded character, is a complex character. My character is an experiment, it's an experience, it's what you want to see. My character is vibrant, it is deep, and that's as far as I can go. Thank you.